Detroit itself offers a lot. You just got to be willing to do it. People don't know what you need unless you open your mouth and say, I need help. What inspired me to get my GED was, it was always a goal of mine. But what made it possible for me to get it was the city of Detroit. They gave you everything you needed to succeed. Just pick up the phone because you already got it in your hand. Get on the website. Detroit for life.
All right, I'd like to welcome you to this edition of In the Conference Room with Mark S. Lee. I also want to wish you all a happy holiday season. Merry Christmas to all of you. And as I look out the window today and a little bit of snow is coming down, but hey, it's always good to be alive. And thank you each and every single week for joining me in the conference room. We've been doing this for several years now. And the response continues to be overwhelming. And I appreciate all of you for tuning in and for your feedback. So thank you very much. And we're going to continue the conversation with business leaders from across the great city of Detroit, as we do all each and every single week. And no exception this week, I have the Deputy Mayor, Todd Bettison. You all know him, doing a great job as the Deputy Mayor. DM, thank you very much for joining me. How you doing?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. You know, the holiday season, hanging out with Mark S. Lee. Hey, Mark, what does the S stand for in Lee, if you don't mind me asking?
See, everybody asked me that question. And so the S stands for superstar.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I will tell you a funny story. How did I start using the S? I'm also an instructor, as you know. And years ago, I used to tell my students to Google themselves, right?
Okay.
And so I Googled myself, but it was just Mark Lee. So 7 letters, a very short name. Man, that name is so common. I found people in prison, tax evasion,
Oh
things
my
like
God.
that.
Oh my
So
God.
that's how I started using the S. And all of a sudden my name pops right up. So
You know what? For a lot of other folks and listeners, they probably need to use their middle initial too, especially if they got common first and last names.
hey, I learned my lesson. But anyway, let's jump right into the conversation. There's a great effort that's going on that was just launched back in September of early this year, the Detroit for Life campaign. We've seen all the advertising. Hear it on radio, you see it on television. A lot of interest in this campaign, Deputy Mayor. Talk to us about the Detroit for Life campaign.
Well, really, it's about just making sure Detroiters know all the wonderful programming that we have in the city of Detroit. You know, we believe, Mayor Duggan believes that we want to create opportunities in this city like no other. But you have to get the word out, because with all the programs, how do we get the information to the people so that they can take full advantage of it? And so that's where the team, the mayor, Vicki Thomas, came up with the whole Detroit for Life campaign. And of course, we got to thank President Joe Biden. We used American American Rescue Plan Act money and funding to put together the programs, and also to advertise the ads as well. And so you've heard about our $100 million scholarship, where we get Detroiters back to work. You heard about Learn to Earn, and all of these wonderful programs you can actually connect to via the City of Detroit's website. So Detroit, MI, Detroit spelled out MI, then a dot, gov, Detroit for Life. And it tells about all of the things. It talks about down payment assistance. If you're a renter, and I know we got a lot of renters out there, we want you to become homeowners. And so with that, go to Detroit for Life, go to the website, see and learn about how we're taking renters and giving them up to $10,000 for down payment assistance so that you can transfer from being that renter to a homeowner in the city of Detroit. Now, I'm not going to give you the money to move outside the city.
Right.
We talking about right here.
Is a campaign like this, Deputy Mayor, is this unique to Detroit? Are other cities doing something similar, or is this unique to the city of Detroit?
I'm not aware of anybody doing anything as innovative and aggressive as we are, as far as ensuring that you have these unique opportunities. And the way we're using American Rescue Plan Act dollars, we call it ARPA for short. A lot of cities just poured it back into their general fund, but the mayor wanted to make sure that we were strategic and that we invest in programming that's going to really make a difference for Detroiters' lives. So we've invested, of course, in parks. If you look at the city parks, you see that we've renovated the parks, we've given them rehabs, and the city is beautiful. Also, with our demolition program, what we basically, when the mayor came in office, we had 45,000 abandoned houses in the city. We're down to 5,000 citywide now. And so strategically, just utilizing our resources, knocking those down and saving the ones that we can so that we can rehab them and put Detroiters in them.
Do you think, Deputy Mayor Todd Bettison, that this will become a model for the entire country, for other cities? You mentioned, President Biden, you mentioned the resources, the support and gotten from Washington, D.C. with the American Rescue Plan Act. Do you see this becoming a model program for other cities? Have you received phone calls, for example, from other cities expressing an interest in what Detroit is doing?
Absolutely. And so the programs that we're putting in place, we get a lot of attention from the White House. Matter of fact, also under our Detroit for Life campaign, and as far as making sure that our Detroiters got the skill set, we started a program called Jumpstart. And so we announced that back in February, early February 2023. We actually had Gene Sperling from the White House to come to the city of Detroit because he thought that our approach to taking Detroiters and getting them the resources to the learn to earn, also paying them to learn a skill and giving them a stipend and a bonus while they actually work. We're helping out with childcare as well while you get a chance to go back and get your skills in place so that you're prepared for one of these high-tech jobs out there. And so with our Jumpstart program, we also incentivated it where we have some in Detroit organizations that we call IDOs. And so those are some local grassroots organizations that are really reaching our hard to reach that typically our commercials don't reach. And so if you've been unemployed 6 or more months, we took grassroots organizations through word of mouth in the city of Detroit to bring in folks. And our goal was 1,200 people. We have roughly 1,700 people joined our Jumpstart program. And so we've exceeded our expectations, and we just want to keep going and getting more and more in. And let me say this, Mark, I'm happy to report that Detroit is at an all-time low when it comes to our unemployment rate. For example, we're the lowest we've been in roughly 33 years. And so with 12,000 Detroiters becoming employed, and since September, roughly 3,000 residents have gotten their jobs due to the Detroit for Life campaign.
So this campaign is having that type of impact in such a short time in terms of getting Detroiters employed. Really, that's incredible. I've been doing this for a long time, as you know, and I've been working in marketing for a long time. I have marketing consultants as well. And to get a level of support and success in such a short period of time truly shows us a dynamic program. What makes it so unique in terms of systematically attacking that unemployment rate and getting it down over such a short period of time?
Really being strategic and making sure that we create real opportunities and getting the information to the people through venues like your show. I can advertise on, Hot 107.5. I can advertise on, JLB. I can do 2, 4, and 7. But also, we have to be able to touch people like your followers who are listening, who may not listen to Hot 107.5. So we're on Hot 107.5. We're on your show. We're on other small mediums as far as this as well. We're out in the street. And then with the grassroots organizations doing word of mouth. So we're attacking it from every angle, Mark, and doing the and approach and bringing something of value because, Detroiters want value and they want what's real. For example, if I go to 36th District Court, talk to some judges, and we have a ticket amnesty program, right? And we say between this date and this date, we're going to have amnesty where it can help you get your driver's license back in order, catch up on your past due fines. Typically, what you'll see Detroit show up. You'll see maybe 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 people show up. So we know that the demand to improve their lives is there. As government and as the philanthropic organizations through private partners as well, who say they want Detroiters to do better, when we come together and get what the people really want, they show up. And so I think that through Vicki Thomas, her genius, I got to give shouts out to Vicki because she created a campaign that's catchy too, because it's actually a song that goes along with it. I know you've heard it, and they
I've heard it.
We actually got some Detroit students to develop it to make us cool.
And tell us about and by the way, for those of you who are tuning in, we're running the 3 spots as part of this interview. You get a chance to see it. It is running across the city. I've seen it several times. I've heard the music. I catch myself humming to it. Talk to us about the music. Who did it?
Oh my God. So Detroit Academy of Arts and Science, so the DAAS created the powerful song to really just capture the spirit of Detroit, that grit, that perseverance, that never stop, that always can do attitude. And so, they really captured it. And we they created everything for us as far as the music. And I will tell you, when we play it, the young people, they all start dancing and
I
moving to
believe it.
it. I start grooving to it. And so it's just one of those things that we're just going to keep pushing out there, because if you Detroit, we proud, right? And so everybody else can
Absolutely.
always tell the Detroit crew when they show up in the room. So if you in Vegas, if you in Chicago, if you in Atlanta, everybody from there always know the Detroit crew. And so, hey, let's brand it Detroit for life, because what's important is we want you to stay here. It's okay
Yeah.
if you go out and get an education at whatever school you go to. You can go to Harvard, you can go to MIT, you can go to Spelman, you can go to Morehouse. But if you're from Detroit, we want you to come back and bring those talents back to Detroit. So regardless of who you are, we're creating that campaign, Detroit for Life, because that's how we're going to grow our city to really put us in that number one spot and be able to maintain that number one spot.
And that's what struck me with this campaign, Deputy Mayor, is Detroit for Life. I love that title because it's exactly what you said. Stay here for life. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've lived in 9 different cities across the country. You and I've had this conversation before,
Yes.
but I came back home, and I'm a Detroiter for life. This is my home, and everything I do here, I do to benefit other residents, the listeners, the viewers, everybody, my business associates, everybody I touch. My objective is to improve them. And I love the theme and the title of the campaign, Detroit for Life, because there's been a lot of discussion about people going to other cities and the young people going to other cities, and yet you're making a direct appeal. Hey, stay here. We got programs for you, Detroit for Life. And I think that really resonates, not just with people like me, but younger people who are looking for opportunities, more mature people still looking for opportunities. Whoever came up with that theme, I think that's an awesome theme. It's appropriate for all the conversations that we're hearing about today in terms of getting people to stay here.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what? If you stamp it, Marquez Lee, I mean, you know what? It was.
Hey, I want to say one thing.
It must be good.
Before we go, is that Vicki Tomlinson's voice out here on one of the radio commercials?
Oh, absolutely.
There
We
you,
had to take the queen. We had to take her. Absolutely. She got that smooth, sultry voice, that voice right there. And so, Vicky, absolutely. We couldn't have got a better person.
yeah. And let me say, I think that the people in the commercials that are representing the campaign are awesome people. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and your team for what you're doing, the mayor's office, of course, for what you're doing this Detroit for Life campaign. And again, we're going to give you all a chance to see it as part of this interview and also across many media outlets across Detroit. So, Deputy Mayor, thank you for your time. I know you're busy. I appreciate the update. One more time, the website that people can go to is?
It's Detroit spelled out, mi.gov/Detroit for Life.
Appreciate it, Deputy Mayor, for all of you tuning in. Again, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a happy holiday season, Happy New Year. We will see the beginning of 2024. Just hey, take some time and regroup. And before I go, I still have to say it. I gotta say it. Everybody knows how I love my Detroit Lions. Gotta say, go Lions. All right,
Hey, go Lions, right? Hey, Lions, Detroit for life. We got you.
you got to. And for all of you, thank you again for tuning in. We will check you out next time. We'll end the conference with Mark S. Lee. Again, happy holidays to all of you.
Because I live in Detroit, I was able to get tuition-free college through the Detroit Promise. I feel very fortunate working with the Detroit Promise. They were able to afford me so many opportunities. I'm currently studying media production and journalism at University of Michigan Dearborn. I'm looking to take my talents further into the production industry, short films. I love working with people here, and this is where I want to be. And that's why I'm Detroit for life.
I was just working jobs and jobs. It wasn't a career. We were just living paycheck if I was making it to the next paycheck. By me going through the program and obtaining my GED, I have more job opportunities, better job opportunities. I got paid to get my GED, and now I have a great job with benefits, working for the Detroit Police Department. Detroit had my back.